Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Febryantho Nuary Syahrani, and today I will present about the effectiveness of using run of the board game in the teaching vocabulary. In experimental research at the 8th grade of the junior high school Muhammadiyah Palopo. Today I will explain about the background. First, the background. The vocabulary is one of most important necessities for the teaching and learning of foreign language. It can be used for developing the four skills, such as listening skills, speaking skills, reading skills, and writing skills. Vocabulary is the main tool of students use English effectively. The more vocabulary students know, the more they can comprehend. Vocabulary is fundamental for comprehension. It's such the terrible thing when someone wants to share their opinion, but they lack of vocabulary. Moreover, when they read, they have no all of the words to understand what he or she just read. A rich vocabulary can improve students' ability and their confidence of communicate with others. The students find it difficult to speak English fluently. They usually feel bored to do speaking and writing activities because they keep on using the same expression and words. Then sometimes when they have the conversations and they do not know the words, they will stop talking because they do not have any ideas to talk. Without sufficient to understanding the words, students cannot understand when they talk with others or express their feelings. Those problems must be solved. The students need a good strategy and easy way to improve their vocabulary ability. Many students struggle with English listening. It is difficult to them to understand the words, and even after they translate it, students will find it difficult to remember the words. The teacher needs to develop strategies to improve the students' vocabulary. And also students must have a teacher support in learning, especially improve the students' vocabulary ability. We move on to problem statement. Based on my previous explanation, the research formulated the following research question as follows. Does run the board game effectively to improve students' vocabulary at the 8th grade of junior high school Muhammadiyah Palopo? What is the student's response of implementation of run of the board game at the 8th grade of junior high school Muhammadiyah Palopo? We move on to objective of research. Referring the formulation of the problems, this research aims to find out whether run of the world games improve the students' vocabulary at the 8th grade of junior high school Muhammadiyah Palopo or not, one language to the other. And next, we move on to significance of research. The finding result of this research was expected to be useful in English learning, especially for the students, and also expected to solve the students' problem in memorizing vocabulary by using suitable and enjoyable media while learning. Then, the students can use vocabulary they have earned when they communicate with others, and expected to give the piece of new knowledge to the teachers that probably have a similar problem with researchers. And finally, we move on to scope of research. This research focuses on nouns adjectives, and verbs. By activity, this research applies to run the board game to teach vocabulary. The vocabularies which target can be mastered by students are 50 words, 13 nouns, 10 adjectives, and 10 verbs. Second, I will explain about the review of relating literature. First, previous studies. In this thesis that I found to make this presentation, the researcher will describe the related research that has been concluded the research as follows. Vicky Palupi Kasumati. Second, Nisa Salika. And third, Farah Romiesa Sarah. I repeat, Farah Romiesa Sarah. Second, vocabulary. Definition of the vocabulary. Vocabulary is all words that person knows or use. All the words in the language list are the words and their meanings, especially in the book of learning of foreign language. According to the list, vocabulary is the collection of the words that has individual nouns. Generally, vocabulary is the knowledge of the meanings of words. Vocabulary should be integrated into teaching the four skills. So, we should learn and memorize the vocabulary because the vocabulary supports all of the skills. Even the students have mastered the grammatical form, but they limited by lack of vocabulary. They still could not communicate to the others in the foreign language, which means vocabulary is one of important factor when people want to communicate with other people. It is difficult to speak English without mastering vocabulary. Speaking of vocabulary, there are types of vocabulary. There are two types of vocabulary. They are active and passive vocabulary. The group of passive vocabulary is usually larger than the one of the active vocabulary. Passive vocabulary contains all the words that you understand but you're not yet able to use. People understand it when it is heard or read. Meanwhile, active vocabulary is words that you understand and use in the speaking or writing. Also, there are kinds of vocabulary. There are many kinds of vocabulary. They are verb, adjective, noun, preposition, adverb, conjunction, interjection. But the writer only explain three kinds of vocabulary, which is noun, adjective, and verb. A noun is the part of speech. Noun identifies people, place, and things and ideas. Nouns are important in spoken and written language, and noun pretty easy to use and understand. Pretty used to understand and memorize. Adjective. An adjective used to describe, identifies, and qualifies a noun or the pronoun. So basically, the main function of adjective is to modify a noun or a pronoun so that will become more specific and interesting. Instead of just one word, a group of the words with subject and a verb can also function as an adjective. It is called an adjective clause. And finally, verb. A verb is a word that indicates activity either in the form of behavior, action, and adjectives. There are also words that indicate conditions. It is inflected for agreement with the subject, for tense, for voice, for mood or aspect. A verb can be considered as one of most important parts of sentence because subject and predicate must be in sentence. Okay, one last because I forget. There is vocabulary teaching strategy. Vocabulary is very important. It is key to component of language development. The teacher tries to find creative approach with teaching in learning and teaching process. Utilizing techniques as complicated games, rapid reading, fluency exercises, and error analysis. They can help students both consciously and subconsciously to practice successful strategies. There are methods for teaching vocabulary. First, word cards and word association. Second, visual technique. Third, brainstorming. Next, we move on to run the board game. Definition of game. There are many methods and techniques to make English learning and teaching process become interesting and enjoyable. One of strategies is using a game. The game many benefits for language learning. It offers students to fun-fulfilled and relaxing learning atmosphere. Right stage, the word game means fun and interesting, often challenging, and this activity is carried out where students interact and compare to each other. Definition of run of board game. Run of board is an interesting activity for students because they can learn through playing. This is a good way to see how well students remember the words learned in the previous lessons. The goal of run the board game is to have two students race and write the word on the board. Students give a topic and try to write down as many words related to the topic they can. The procedure to using run the board game. There are many ways and techniques of teach and improve vocabulary, and in this game there are some procedures that must be followed. 1. Group the students into two teams. They give each other a different color of marker. Divide the board into two parts, one for each team. Give the student a topic, for example, holiday. Instruct one of students from each team to run to the board and write a word that is related to the topic. Only one word per person. When one person is writing a word, she or he must give the marker to the next player, then run to the board. After 3 minutes, count all the words in the team with the most words win. Advantage or disadvantage of using run to the board game. There are some advantages for playing run to the board game. For improving students' vocabulary, there are 1. It is fun and enjoyable for students. 2. It is easy for them to memorize a new word. C. It involves friendly and competitions. 4. The students more active than teacher. Then there are disadvantages of using run the board game. There are some disadvantages of playing the run the board game for improving students' vocabulary. There are 1. Because it's teamwork, so the class becomes so noisy. 2. When the students play the game, there are some students do not care about it. 3. If students still do not understand the procedures of the games. We move to the theoretical framework. Vocabulary is an element that supports of English component. If students have more vocabulary, it will make them easily in expressing their ideas. If students lack of vocabulary, the student will have problems in learning English. This means the vocabulary is very important in the learning progress. Run to the board game is one strategy to be used in English learning English. In the game, it can improve students' vocabulary ability, comprehension in the word given, and it also can be used by students to practice their concentration and their ability in memorizing. From the fact that I spoke previously, the research will reach the researcher will research way of run to the world in teaching vocabulary to bring awareness to not only the student but also to the teachers about how to teach vocabulary effectively. And finally, we move up hypothesis. In this research, the researcher proposes the following hypothesis. First, null hypothesis. Teaching vocabulary by using run to the board game does not improve students' vocabulary at 8th grade of junior high school Muhammadiyah. Alternative hypothesis. Teaching vocabulary by using run the board game improves students' vocabulary at junior high school of Muhammadiyah Palopo. We move on to method of research. First, research method. There are two research methods. There are research design and research variable, and population and sample. The population of this research was the 8th grade students of junior high school Muhammadiyah Pahopo. Total numbers of the population were 30 students, considered of one class. The researchers used purposive sampling, where their research would take one class as sample, which is 8th grade. Considered of 30 students, there were 14 boys and 16 girls. They were around 14 years old. They had same level of proficiency. They taught by the same teacher. We move up to the research instrument. The instrument of the research was a vocabulary test which is a purpose to know students' level in vocabulary. Test will give the pre-test and post-test. The pre-test was used to know students' prior knowledge of vocabulary before treatment, while the post-test was used to measure the students' vocabulary mastery after round of the board treatments. The test was vocabulary which consists 20 numbers. The fronts of the test were multiple choice and match the picture with the words. Multiple choice are 5 and multiple choice 15. And the time duration for the pre-test and post-test was 90 minutes. We move up the procedure of collecting data. There were some steps in collecting data. They are pre-test, treatment, post-test. And last, technique of data analysis. The data collected through the test were analyzed by using following steps. 1. Analyzing the raw data of the pre-test and post-test. Each student's correct answers got 1 and wrong answer got 0. Second, raw score were converted to the set of score maximum of 100 using following formula. Score equals totals of the students' correct answer divide to a total of items multiplied by hundreds. 3. Classifying the score of the students into following score classification. 1. The score 90 to 100 as excellent classification. 2. The score 80 to 89 as good classification. 3. The score of 70 to 78 as educated classification. 4. The score of 60 to 69 as uneducated classification. 5. The score below to 60 as failing classification. Calculating mean score as standard deviation between vocabulary achievement of experimental class by using SPSS 20 for Windows evaluation. In the conclusion, I did like to say vocabulary is important. It's important for English skills, and when we talk to other people, vocabulary is very important. I think that's all. Thank you very much for listening my presentation, and thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.